This is a small tutorial on working with factory edges. Now, most things that you buy, like paper, the term factory edge is actually something that's been cut at the factory, and it's got a perfect, say, 90-degree angle on it, which is going to be your factory edge. So let's look at this piece of paper here, and I've already drew some lines on it. You know, we're going to divide it into 8 pieces. So imagine this is a piece of plywood, and you're going to work with this piece of plywood or this foam or a piece of paper or whatever it may be, and you're going to use it on your terrain. Now, it doesn't matter if you buy a section of base, say you buy baseboard, right? A baseboard, it's cut at the factory. When they cut it at the factory, it's going to be a perfect 90-degree angle. So, and it's going to have, that's called your factory edge, right? Where they do the cut. So this piece of paper was obviously cut at the factory, and it's going to have a perfect 90-degree angle up here, here, and down on the bottoms. Okay. So what you always want to do is, if you want to put two things together, that's called butting two things together, and it's a drawable term, but use it in carpentry as well too. So you always want to take advantage of your factory edges to keep things square. So imagine this is a piece of plywood, and you're going to cut it, or someone's going to cut it with a circular saw, and they're going to cut along here and cut along these lines. So just to exaggerate the point that I'm trying to make, I'm just going to rip this kind of along these lines. Now, obviously could use scissors, but this is just to exaggerate the point that, if you can see here, you know, these obviously aren't perfect, right? So even if you take a circular saw and you were to cut a piece of plywood, you're not going to get, it's going to be very difficult to get a perfect. So imagine you just cut this piece of plywood with a circular saw, okay? Now you go to try to put all these pieces back together, right? And some of the angles are going to be off. It's not going to be quite perfect. You know, a ruined city, right? This square here might have an oil refinery on it. This might have a, you know, burnt out building. This might have a parkade. This might have a waste dump on it, etc., etc., etc. So you got all these pieces. You're going to put them all together on your 4x8 table, but you want all your joints to line up nice. So the first thing you do is you flip them factory to factory. So if I turn this one around and turn all these around this way, this one, the factory edge is going to go to the inside, factory edge to the inside, and the factory edge to the inside. And keep going. So now what we got is on the top here, you see when I put those together, you got factory edge to factory edge. Now these are a little exaggerated, but these cuts aren't going to matter so much butting up this way. But if we take these two factory edges and put them together, it's going to make a nice seam. And then if we take, then I'll move these up a bit so you can see. And if we take the next two factory edges and butt them up, they're going to be nice like that. And these two pieces as well, if we put those up like that, we are now taking advantage of those factory edges. Okay, so that way it's going to come out a lot nicer. So I'm going to do the same thing now, but with a 4x4. It might make a little more sense and look a little more cool. Okay. Okay, I took the liberty of saving you the boredom. So now if I flip all these around, here's my factory edge all on the outside edge here. Turn this one to the inside. This one to the inside. Turn this one around. And then this guy. Now, besides the curliness of the paper, but you can see now that I got nice, crisp, clean joints because I took advantage of those factory edges. That's all the point that I was trying to make.